Y'all ready to get this thing going?
This is Shotgun Formation, the college football podcast, with your hosts, Jared Green, Brock Gower, and Phil Chinnery.
Shotgun Formation! Red 92! Red 92! Omaha! Omaha! Hut! Hut! Hike!
Well, go shit, we're going.
Yeah, half your beer and a shirt, Phil.
Where?
Boys,
That's the shadow.
I thought we were going to welcome back all of our millions of fans that are listening before we shotgun that beer. Man, you startled me. But yeah, guys, that's our famous intro right there. We all three shotgun this week. Last week was just Brock, and we figured, why not? We're all going for it. So yeah, without further ado, welcome back to week one, our second episode of the Shotgun Formation podcast. So as always, I'm Jared. Right down there's Phil. Brock Gower right over there. It is hat night. And yeah, I mean, obviously we got one Big Ten game under our belts for the season. And let me tell you, Nebraska is a shit show. That's all I've got to say.
They suck.
It was bad. It was real bad.
I mean, look, it's not just me that thinks that. It's, probably the whole country.
Yeah.
Art Sitkowski, I mean, let's be honest. Illinois looked really good. Brett Bielema is Big Ten. Like, he just is. You look at him and you're like, that guy is the Big Ten football coach.
He's played some
Did they-
smash mouth in his day.
Did they look good, or did Nebraska just look that bad?
I think, I'll be honest, I think Illinois looked pretty good. Like,
Or did neither one of them look good? We had a smash mouth game, 2-0 after the first quarter.
I
I don't know if
that
that's
was
just first game of the season, fans
First
and
game jitters.
fans.
It had to be first game jitters.
Yeah, but would you rather start a game any other way in the Big Ten? I know I wouldn't.
I know.
We had
would-
the national media, national writers, all the Barstool guys, all those national writers. They were laughing at the Big Ten. We were laughing stock. Guess what? Quarters 2, 3, 4, we turn it on, baby. So, I'll be honest. I think Illinois looked pretty good. Now, are we expecting them to win 9, 10 games? No. But, look, I wouldn't be surprised if they get 5, 6 wins this year. Brett Bielema is a good coach. Whatever happened at Arkansas, look, nobody else has really won there. He tried to take his Big Ten philosophy down to the SEC, and I think their lines were good. They had a good running game. They just didn't have a quarterback, and nobody else could compete with Alabama when he was there. So it is what it is. Brandon Peters, God bless that guy. He's like 29 years old, and he might be coming back for another year next year. So
That's like the biggest thing, right? Is Illinois not only won the game, but they won it without their starting quarterback.
they won it with a man named Art Sitkowski, who, Brock, do you have his numbers from when he was a starter at Rutgers?
Yeah, he has like a total. He's not just like a freshman or a sophomore. He's already played for 3 seasons at Rutgers.
He might be like 26. Like, he's right below
20
Brandon.
In 2018, he had 4 touchdown passes and 18 interceptions. That was his stats. So if he's going 12 of 15 against Nebraska for 124 and 2 tutties, it's pretty sad.
Here's the thing, like, they have a good running game. We talked about that last week. I was kind of high. They had a lot of their leading guys coming back that rushed the ball for them last year. They had a pretty experienced offensive line. And you just know when you can move the ball, 4 or 5 yards every carry, then all of a sudden your play action game comes and you just get some easy passes, in the flats, across the middle. And that's what a guy like Art Sitkowski needs. Now, they haven't ruled out Brandon Peters out, for this week. I don't know if they're just trying to be, they're trying to disguise that he's not as hurt as he is. I don't know. It looked like a collarbone injury to me. It looked like a classic collarbone broken in half. But I don't know. I'm not an athletic trainer. Maybe we could work on getting an athletic trainer on the episode someday to maybe get their insight. But that's the amateur take. Hopefully he can come back and lead Illinois to like maybe 5 wins at the end of the year. But we'll see what happens. So what do you guys think?
I mean, the thing that kind of shocks me is, one, is a backup quarterback whose stats have been terrible. But two, like Nebraska, they had like 80% of their defense back from last year. So they're pretty much all upperclassmen. Nationally, they probably get higher ranked recruits than Illinois. And speaking of like guys being there for a long time, friggin' Adrian Martinez, not great.
Awful.
Like,
very bad.
So
like
it's
how
funny.
long is they going to stick with this guy?
Brock, I think I text you or we text the podcast and I was like, dude, these guys not have a backup quarterback. Like, what is Scott Frost doing? And literally like the next play, he takes off for that like 70-yard touchdown run. I was like, oh shit. But I don't know. It's like, it's one of those where
the dude's trash.
he's got to be better. I mean,
as long as he's played, he's still missing receivers on throws. He's making bad decisions. Like their offense is so boring. It's just it puts you to sleep watching them try to move the ball. It's not good.
He has not gotten better since his freshman year. Like his sophomore year, I'm pretty sure he was getting like Heisman hype. Like he was like 20-1 odds to win the Heisman. And I think he hurt his knee or whatever he hurt that year, which, okay, whatever. But then like, again, it wasn't like a career altering injury. He's just like, he has not gotten better since he came on board. And I don't know, blame it on Scott Frost. Like, I don't know. You have to, I guess.
He just doesn't even look comfortable out there. Which is, I mean, you've been playing for 5 years now, and it doesn't seem like the game slowed down at all for him.
Yeah.
My other takeaway from the game: how fun are college kickers? Just affecting certain things. Maybe out in Vegas.
The over at 52.5. I know a guy that had it, and 2 missed extra points.
That's crazy. How does Vegas do it? How do they do it?
How about we do this? You want to talk about kickers? I want to talk about Illinois' punter. What a stud. That dude was dropping ball like within the 5-yard line, like 3 or 4 kicks. I think he might have been like the Big Ten punter of the year. Blake Hayes. Let me look at this guy.
Definitely the Big Ten punter of the week.
Well, thank you, Brock. Blake Hayes. Blake Hayes, if you're listening, I'm sure you are. Shout out to you, brother.
You're friend of the podcast now.
I'm pretty sure you got a little run with McAfee. I think McAfee had a little COVID bout, so he was tuning in. But man, you were kudos to you. You might have been the MVP next to Art Sitkowski. So, I mean, yeah, guys. Like, what else we got? Like, so we obviously had that game last week. That was the only Big Ten game. What some other news and notes from around the country? Like, how about the Alliance that came out? Was that last Monday, last Tuesday, or something like that?
I think that's just the conferences wanting to be noticed because everyone's talking about the SEC and the Big 12. What is this alliance actually going to do? Right? They don't have anything signed. They just got on the phone. We're like, hey, you want to be friends? And they're like, yeah, sure. And then what happens like the day it's announced? Was it USC signed to play LSU or something? I think it was LSU. Like, cool alliance, man. That's awesome. Crushed it as they signed with an SEC team. So I just didn't. It's pointless.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those, like, especially when they came out and like, look, I don't know who was it, Jim Phillips or Kevin Warren. One of them were like, no, we didn't have a signed document. This isn't a signed agreement. This is just good old fashioned gentleman's agreement. We looked each other in the eyeballs and we're like, trust you, brother.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean,
man? They just wanted a headline.
Now, I will say, like, I think college football is at its best and college athletics is at its best when there is a balance of power. Kevin Warren, Jim Phillips, and George, I don't even know how you say his last name, like Cleveval or something. Those guys, they get that the college football playoff expansion is a big thing that's coming up. And they see that the SEC has all these ties with ESPN. And they're like, look, if we could give an ESPN all these, like, first dibs on everything, we're not going to make as much money as what we could if we, put it out there for Fox and all these other companies to pretty much get in a bidding war for. Those guys know it. They're business minds. And I think as much as anything, that was more of, like you said, just those, so these three could kind of make their names heard and known and let the SEC know, like, hey, we're kind of in this together. So just so you know, if you guys try to go rogue, like, we got each other's backs. You guys, our sport cannot be as good as it is if you don't have us in your corner as well. Now, whether the SEC cares, who knows? So we'll see. I don't know. I think it was just some blowing smoke to get their name out there to do something. They had to respond some way, somehow.
Right.
But I am looking forward to like the scheduling stuff. I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Michigan
We already
versus
got
USC.
some Pac-12 teams playing Big Ten this week, so they already had that one. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Purdue and Oregon State play. I think it's just cool to see teams on the West Coast. I mean,
Yeah.
the only time they're on like TV is like after 10 o'clock at night. And by that point, we're hammered.
Yeah. Well, that's the Pac-12 thing in this too, is like, hey, if we can go out to the New York market and get on the East Coast a little bit and getting, again, not playing 11 o'clock kickoffs all the time, that obviously bodes well for them. They need more eyeballs. Those are good institutions out there. It's just, like you said, Brock, I mean, by the time that game rolls around out here, you got some hooligans that are already blacking out and you got people going to sleep. So it's one of those, like, yeah, they needed it. And when you talk about like an expansion blueprint, I think the Big Ten and Pac-12 match up very well, just with kind of the prestigious schools and universities you're dealing with from an academic point. But yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. Phil, I think this was just kind of blowing some smoke a little bit, get their names out there, stay relevant, and do something, because the SEC obviously made a big move. So, well. Do we have any mailbag questions this week, guys? I didn't check the mailbox. We better get that. If you guys have any questions that you want to send us, shotgunformationpod@gmail.com.
Or Twitter.
Now. Or Twitter. Yes, we are on Twitter. That is shotguncfbpod @shotguncfbpod. Give us a follow. Shoot us a little mailbag question. Maybe we'll feature you next week on the episode. It can be anything. I mean, obviously we're here for college football, but if you got some life questions, a girlfriend problem, a wife problem,
we're here.
We are what I would like to say amateur love doctors. So we're doing our best to give back.
We've got one guy with a kid, we've got a married guy, and then we've got the master of Hinge. So basically all the bases are covered in 2021 here. We're ready for your questions.
And we're all over the map too, countrywide. Like we got Indiana, Florida, Tennessee. Like we are running through the country right now. So we can probably get out to you. We got a feel for every part of the country outside the West Coast. So we're here for you. Just know that. But we got an exciting guest waiting in the wing. Brock, do you want to kind of give an intro here? We've got Jim Joyner joining us. Joining. So, I mean, we kind of talked to you guys last week about, just what we're going to do moving forward. And we kind of talked about, hitting the gym with Jim for the 6-pack question. And so we're kind of combining the two. So Brock, without further ado, if you want to introduce my man, Jim.
And I'm actually going to introduce Phil to introduce Jim. So Phil, please take it away.
It is my absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to bring to you tonight the 3-time Kansas High School Athletic Association Broadcaster of the Year, one of the Kansas City region's top 40 under 40 with a mic in his mouth, one of the just nicest guys I know, one of the fastest runners I've ever met, and, one
of the best karaoke singers we've ever heard.
The guy crushes on karaoke. Just an all-around 5-tool athlete here. My pleasure to bring in Jim Joyner.
Oh,
Jim, where you at?
Jim, you're on mute, bud.
Hold up, you hear me?
Oh,
there he is.
There he is.
Let's go.
That golden voice.
Let's go, boys. Well, I'm in my car. If I'm sitting outside, you will hear the ravenous cicadas of the Midwest just chewing your ear off. If I go inside, there are several people watching Bachelor in Paradise, and Bachelor in Paradise is top priority in this house. So, we're Team Demi. We're gonna see what happens, but always Team Demi, Team Boom Boom Room,
Team Abigail.
We do like Abigail, a nice woman, very nice woman. I think Noah will be pretty good for her. I think that they have been a pretty good combo.
Cool.
Well, Brock, do you kind of want to give an intro to what we're doing here with hitting the gym and Jim's six-pack question? And Jim, yeah, I mean, I'll leave it up to you to kind of propose that to us, and then we'll go over it.
I thought I was going to ask a trivia question, and I figured that Phil would probably be able to answer it. The other guys, not so sure. But we were going to keep it easy for the first week. But I know that we talked about college football stadiums and some of the places that we think would be some of the best to visit. I'm sure everybody has mentioned Kansas Memorial Stadium. Definitely one of everybody's favorite places to visit. It is an absolute dump. One of my favorite places.
Unfortunately,
it didn't make
Kansas,
my list.
Kansas did not make my list either. It's
His
honorable mention. Yes.
Oh,
I can't believe it. As much as I do like to make fun of the Nebraska Cornhuskers, I have heard enough glowing reviews about Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. However, I think that they were up to like 376 consecutive sellouts this week, but they were on the fritz of maybe not being able to sell out, and a few donors are now giving the tickets to the kids. And I'm a little bit concerned for the kids that they're going to have to watch Nebraska play Fordham or whoever they're playing this week. They are going to continue to sell out. I know everybody there wears those weird Cornhusker heads and all of that, but to my understanding, great place to watch a college football game, except for when Scott Frost is the coach, and I imagine it would be a very sad place to watch a college football game.
Jim, we kind of recapped this a little earlier. Do you have one word to describe Nebraska's state of the football program right now?
Now, see, for you guys, you are all Big Ten people, but I am a Big 12 guy. I live in Big 12 country. I'm more of an SEC guy. I'm more of an Arkansas Razorback fan. And so I follow the SEC closer, but I live in Big 12 country. And so when we think about Nebraska, a program that has its standards so high, do you guys ever have any of those friends that all they want to do is date 10s? And they are really like a 5, but they want to date 10s. That's all they want to do, date 10s. That's Nebraska. They're a 5, maybe even a 3 right now. They put on 40, 50 pounds. They're not looking that good, but they want to continue to date 10s, and they're going, why does Kim Kardashian not want to date me? I don't understand. Well, Nebraska's terrible right now. Scott Frost is terrible right now. I think the word I would use to describe Nebraska is, I'll use 2 words, but high standards. They sat around forever with Bo Pelini, and they won 9, 10, 11 games every year, and then they got fat and happy, and they went, well, I don't understand why we can't win 13 games. Why can't we win the national championship? They fire him. They go get the guy from Oregon State, absolute disaster. They go get Scott Frost, absolute disaster. And Nebraska fans sometimes, boys, can be insufferable. Maybe that's a better word for them. But I live around them. I'm close enough to Lincoln. They're tough. They're tough to deal with.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were all kind of on the same page. Like, we were saying it's a shit show right now.
It is.
So, but we got the 6-pack question. So let's kind of head over to, we'll go Brock, Phil, myself, and we'll just kind of go. Do you guys want to play this like a snake draft type thing? Like you do your ones?
I feel like we're going to have a lot of repeats. So I'd rather just rock the whole 6er per person, if that's allowed.
That works. Well, G-Bucks, Brock Gower, let's start with you, man. What's your number one place, your college? So you said college football like venue. I was kind of going, I based it more off a maybe like experience. A campus. Yeah, campus experience. So yeah, we'll go with you. I mean, it all kind of ties in, I guess, a little bit. But what's your number one place that you want to visit? Or if you have visited that you're like, yeah, you have to visit this place. Hopefully it's not West Lafayette.
West Lafayette's always gonna be number one in my heart. No, so I actually took this as every team I picked it as if they were like number one in the nation. And so I kind of ranked it like that way. If this team was number one in the nation, would they rank up higher than somebody else? So I'm going number one. I'm going with like the heart of football. I'm going to go the University of Texas. I think that'd just be awesome if they were ranked number one. I mean, they freaking love football in the whole state. So I just think that would be awesome there with all their traditions and history and everything. I think that'd be really cool seeing the burnt orange. Number two, being a Big Ten guy, I would personally like to go to Wisconsin. I think that would be really cool. Do the jump around, see red, and see Purdue there playing for the West Championship possibly late in the season. I think that'd be cool. Number 3, I've been to the stadium. Never been to a game there. I would love to go to Florida. I think that'd be really cool. Being in the swamp, just a hot, sweaty day.
Brock, I've been to that stadium with you.
That's true.
Was it hot and sweaty?
It was hot and
sweaty. It was swampy.
It was ripping and tearing for sure. Number 4 in the 6-pack. I have been to this stadium. I loved it. Went to a game there. Knoxville, Tennessee, baby. That place is awesome. Going to Neyland Stadium. The fans, obviously, the state of their football program right now is not great. Even when we went to the game, they were decent, but the place was just awesome. They were on fall break. There's like 100,000 fans there going nuts. Old Rocky Top. Love it.
They had to do a BOGO offer this week to get their fans out.
Hey, I'll take them.
You know who their quarterback is? Joe Milton.
Joe Milton.
I was going to say that. Number 5, I'm going to go Penn State. I think being at a whiteout would be awesome, specifically for like a Penn State, Ohio State game. Night whiteout. It looks awesome. And then number 6, I kind of went back and forth on a few places because I was trying to think of a place that had a cool tradition or something. So I was kind of leaning with maybe Virginia Tech on a night game, doing the Inner Sandman. But I'm actually going to go with Texas A&M. I think it would be really cool. Their stadium is awesome. It's huge. Just with what is it? Are they considered like military or like cadets or something?
I think they have like a program. The whole university is not, but they have a program that a lot of people get into.
Yeah. But I just think being around there, once again, the state of Texas, if they're number 1, that'd be awesome. The 12th man. So that's my 6-pack. I had Texas, Wisconsin, Florida, Tennessee, Penn State, and Texas A&M. I think that'd be cool places to go.
Cool
Solid list. Phil?
All right. Let me rip through mine here. Number 1, as crazy it sounds, I've actually never been to a Michigan game at home. I've seen them on the road probably 5 times. I've never been to the Big House. So it's definitely got to be my number 1. Number 2, and I thought I was being sneaky.
Have you been to Ann Arbor? Have you been to Ann Arbor?
I've never been to Ann Arbor in my life.
Really? I think Ann Arbor is one of the coolest just college towns. But go ahead.
Yeah, someday I'll get there. Someday, maybe a little Purdue, Michigan. Who knows? Maybe the podcast hits the road one day. I don't know. Number 2, I thought I was being sneaky here, but then Brock literally said exactly what I was thinking. Penn State whiteout game. That just seems like one of the coolest things, one of the best traditions. They actually play Michigan in that whiteout game a fair amount, I feel like. So I think that'd be a really cool one. LSU definitely has to be on the list, I think, for the party atmosphere. I don't really know much about the stadium. It looks pretty cool. There's a tiger in the middle of it. And it just looks like a good time. LSU knows how to party. So that's going to be cool. I've got Texas on my list as well. I was actually in Austin 2 years ago for the Texas LSU game when Joe Burrow was with LSU. And then there was like top 10 matchup. It was like the first weekend of the year. But we couldn't get tickets to the game because they were dumb expensive. So I had a chance kind of, but that Austin as a city, so cool, really awesome. So I definitely want to check that out at some point. My 5th one kind of cheats because it's not a campus thing, but I want to go to the Rose Bowl just for atmosphere, tradition, that sort of thing. I think that'd be a really cool place to visit. And then my number 6, I couldn't really think of something. I've actually been pretty fortunate. I've been to Tennessee, I've been to Clemson, and I've been to Alabama. So I'm knocking out like 3 pretty big ones right there. So I was kind of just going all over the place for this last one, but I think Georgia, a game at Sanford Stadium in Georgia would be a pretty good time as well. They seem to have a good time in the SEC.
Phil, your Rose Bowl pick there. I almost threw in Hawaii just because screw it. Like, let's go to a game in Hawaii.
Trip to Hawaii. Right.
Like, let's go to Hawaii. But they're not letting us.
Driven past the stadium.
They're not letting us mainland folks out there right now during COVID times. They got to protect that island. But yeah, it's a solid list. My my list. Did any of you guys say Ole Miss? Man, that's
The
unfortunate.
Grove.
I actually get to go there next weekend.
Ooh.
The old Austin P Governors are taking on the Fighting Lane Kiffins. And so Ole Miss ranks number 1 on my list of places to visit. I think the Grove is just, when you see that place rocking and rolling, it's like nothing else. So that's just, when you see that in full action, and when Ole Miss is good, I think it's just a special campus to be around.
When have they ever been good, though?
I mean, they're pretty good this year. Matt Corral's a stud.
Chad
Yeah,
Kelly?
he threw 6 interceptions against Arkansas. 6.
Wisconsin rolls in at number 2 for me. I would like to go probably in a mid to late September, early October game before it gets too chilly. But jump around is something special, and just being a part of that is something that I would love to do.
And their campus is on a lake.
Oh,
How
yeah.
cool is that?
I mean, Madison's beautiful. Madison's absolutely beautiful.
My sister lives there, so I'm going to offer up her basement for us for the traveling podcast.
I love it.
So
Perfect.
now we got 2 places to go to.
Now I've heard Wisconsin folks a little bit weird. We got a guy who used to work with is from Madison, and let me tell you, he cannot stand Wisconsin Badger fans, probably because his parents are big Badger fans.
My wife's cousin attends Wisconsin.
Wow, sounds like an awesome human being.
He's great.
LSU rolls in number 3 for me. It gets a little weird in a night game in Death Valley, or the second Death Valley, whoever you want to consider the real one. Clemson actually rolls in next for me after that. So it's a battle between the real Death Valleys. But I think Clemson is one of the most special entrances in college football, run down the hill. Something that I would love to just see someday and just be a part of all that game day tradition. Penn State in the whiteout game, specifically the whiteout game. I'm glad we all hit that.
I'm not going there for a nooner against Rutgers. Pass.
Hey, watch out for Rex Schiano and the fighting Scarlet Knights.
See old Joe Pa.
But no, man, it's something like Seven Nation Army when that place is rocking. Like, holy cow, I get goosies just watching it to the TV, man. So,
Couple goosers.
And then last but not least, a place I have been, and a place that I would just recommend that anybody just take the trip, go see a game there if you can, based on tradition only, is Notre Dame Stadium.
Trash.
There's a lot of history, a lot of tradition there that, again, whether or not you're a fan of either team playing, it's just something that's just taken one time, knock it off the bucket list and go do it. So, yeah, man, those are my 6. I think we all had some solid. Let's see.
We actually had quite a few differences, I feel like.
I was gonna say we all had the Penn State whiteout game. I think we all had LSU.
I did not.
You didn't have LSU?
No.
We all have Wisconsin.
I did not have Wisconsin.
Okay. So
I had a couple honorable mentions. Like I said, Virginia Tech, I think would be awesome if they were super good. Enter Sandman. And then South Carolina.
Sandstorm.
Yep.
That'd be sick. If they were ranked top 5 night game, that'd be really cool.
That's back in the Clowney days. Like, man, speaking of that was the game we went to, Brock. We saw Jadeveon Clowney, and we saw that
was an awesome game.
That poor little 10-year-old South Carolina fan crying right behind us. He just didn't understand how they got beat in a last-second field goal. Shout out to that kid. Hope you're doing well.
He's listening too, I bet.
He's probably like 18 now. How long ago?
South Carolina, actually.
That was 7 years ago. That was 7 years ago, bro. I was
7 years ago.
So yeah, he's probably like 7. Man. Hope you're doing well, bud. But any other honorable mentions? Brock, you named those 2. Any others?
I mean, I think Iowa would be cool. I mean, just kind of when you talk about grit, they just seem really gritty. I bet the tailgate scene would be pretty cool there on like a late fall game, especially with the tradition waving at the Children's Hospital and the kids in the windows. That'd be cool.
Has anybody mentioned Arizona State yet? And just the fact that you could go to Arizona State and be around the beautiful people that go to school there. I think that's honorable mention.
That's fair.
I like it, Jim. Yeah, that's very fair.
We actually avoided the West Coast, basically, besides my Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
The Autzen Zoo at Oregon, that would be fun.
That was an honorable mention for me.
And then Washington, I've heard actually really good things about Washington.
They do a lot of tailgating, like boat tailgating, because they kind of like sit right there on the water too, like in Seattle area. So, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I'd go tailgate in a boat. It's like Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend, like all over.
Are we on a tune?
So
Love me a pong team.
nobody said Ohio State, which if you look at
Ohio
any
State.
list on the internet, that's always going to be in the like top 3 stadiums and game day atmospheres. I didn't even want to think about going there.
No.
I went to Ohio State, Michigan State would have been, I don't know, 2016. It was a game day. It was like number 2 versus number 4. The worst experience of my life. I got my car window punched out. It was sleet, snow, rain. Like we sat in like the first row of kind of the second level, and we had like 6 inches of fucking rain just sitting on our feet. And it wasn't fun. And then I come back and I couldn't even drive home because I was too drunk. And I'm just like, well, awesome. My window's punched out. I drove all the way home in like 30-degree weather with just, like 7 a.m, just wind blasting in my face. I think I stopped at a rest stop like halfway just to get like an hour's sleep. Yeah. So Columbus sucks in my honest opinion.
Here's one, if you could imagine, if they were ever good remotely, probably I was ranking mine off of if they were like number 1 in the nation. Another one, could you imagine if like Vanderbilt was number 1 in the nation right there in Nashville? Like how cool it would be just to go there every weekend for a home game, tailgate, and then go out.
The city of Nashville's cool. They don't give a shit about Vanderbilt athletics.
Oh, I know. But
even if they're number 1, I don't think they would care.
When I think of like college football though, like I don't want to go out to I don't want to go downtown Nashville just to tailgate. Like when I
You don't want to go to a karaoke bar to tailgate?
I love karaoke. But for me, I'm like, look,
Karaoke in a parking lot.
Get me a damn like grass lot with a canopy, some cornhole, some grills fired up, a smoker. Like, I mean, let me take you to Bloomington, Indiana. We never lost a tailgate out there, boys. So I'm just saying.
Noted.
Hey, how about the Fargo Dome? Wouldn't you love to see North Dakota State just like kill Northern Iowa and some random quarterback that is going to be like a top 10 draft pick and then a starter in the NFL? Wouldn't you love to see that? Come on, Fargo Dome.
How about I hope they make the jump to FBS football here soon. I think they deserve it.
Well, they've beaten enough of the bottom feeders that I think they deserve a chance.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think then their president or AD actually put out something when Texas and Oklahoma made the announcement moving to the SEC that they're like, hey, any FBS school wants to call us, like we're ready and willing. So they were pulling like the Nick Foles trying to get traded to the Colts. He was trying to make it happen himself. They were just calling their own shot, but so I hope it happens for them. I mean, they've obviously proved everything they need to at the FCS level, but it's one of those too. Like, there's just a lot of other things that come with being an FBS program in terms of like ticket wise and just institutionally how much you got to pay to be at that level. So who knows what happens? But I would love to go visit there, go to a game. So
I think we got some games to talk about this week. Lots of games.
I think we do.
I think our 6-pack turned into a case. So
hey, I don't want to leave Jim hanging because he came in. He's like, look, I got a tricky question for y'all. He just bailed, but maybe next
gone.
week.
So he's gone.
He's gone. So what I'm kind of thinking is
he's got some Bachelor in Paradise.
He's got Bachelor in Paradise to catch up, but next week we get that trivia from him. So I hope he's back. Should we let him in? Should we get him back on this podcast?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just get a quick 6-pack from him.
Just a quick trivia
We'll
question.
work on the transition. That was a little sloppy. First time for all of us.
Yeah.
We'll work on that and have some better comms next time.
For sure.
Hey, it's Jim.
Jim is back. Hey, what's up, boys?
Sorry, I was hovering over your name here on my sidebar, Phil, and I was like, Phil, like it says you're on, man. What are you doing? But Phil. Jim, we didn't want to leave you hanging without getting your trivia question. The fans are wanting to know what that trivia question is, and obviously we want to see if Phil knows it because you kind of called him out when you first got on here.
Yeah, I think Phil's going to know it. And I want to take it easy on you guys week 1. I mean, we're getting back into football mode. I mean, I just started drinking again, and it's going to continue to go here for several weeks. So we're just getting back into football mode. But I want to start it easy on you guys. I think you can answer it, and I feel pretty confident in this. So let's go back to last year. Do you all remember Devontae Smith? Are you familiar with him?
Alabama, wide
Yeah.
receiver.
Of course. Yeah, he won the Heisman Trophy, and he was a wide receiver and won the Heisman Trophy, which is pretty uncommon because normally it's a quarterback that wins the award. So, since the year 2000, there have been 2 guys that have not been quarterbacks that have won the Heisman Trophy. Who are they, and what year?
Mark Ingram, 2011, and Derrick Henry, 2015.
The year on Mark Ingram was a little off, but you're correct. There's also one more that has the asterisk with it. Do you know who that is?
Tim Tebow, because he's tight end.
Yes, go Jaguars.
Hey, he got cut, man.
He gone.
Too soon.
But we
Wait,
are
which one
referring
is
to
Henry
Reggie
Ingram?
Bush. Yeah, Henry and Ingram, and then Reggie Bush, of course.
Bush.
Would have been 2005. What?
Yeah, 2005. Okay, you guys got it. I felt pretty confident in you. I wanted to take it easy. Week 1, just getting back to drinking. Thursday night full of games. I think we're feeling pretty good now.
We're not even drunk yet.
And then speaking of Heisman winners, adios, Cam Newton. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, how about
pretty incredible year at Auburn that year in 2010, but pretty terrible preseason, sounds like.
Mac Jones is the truth, man. Well,
I've been saying it with Mac Jones. I had a buddy of mine that is a pretty big NFL fan, and he was asking me, and he was just like, do you think he's any good? And I watched him all last year, and I went, I actually think he's got some game. And there were some people that go, well, he's got Jalen Smith or Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle and all these weapons, Najee Harris and this offensive line. How can he not be good? And I went, well, he actually makes some really good throws, and he was efficient. And I went, I'm not that surprised that he's good. And I'm actually kind of happy for him, even as an Arkansas guy and someone that has just been absolutely massacred by Alabama. I'm kind of happy for Mac Jones. Now, I hope that he doesn't end up being Tom Brady and kill me in the AFC at New England for the next 20 years of my life. But for the most part, I think he's awesome, and I'm excited for him.
Yeah, I think efficient, that he doesn't beat himself. And here, Bill Belichick is not going to write in Mac Jones as the starter of his team unless he feels pretty confident. So, I mean, look, that bodes well for him. I think that offense just takes a boost with him at quarterback. Just Cam Newton, just with his shoulder injuries, the dude just can't. He's one-dimensional now.
He can't throw.
Can't throw. You got to be able to throw the ball if you're a professional quarterback. I'll tell you that. So,
Lamar Jackson.
Hopefully, maybe he goes out to the Ravens and he's a backup for Lamar. Who knows? So we'll see what happens. Maybe this is the last we've ever heard of Cam Newton, and if so, I'll raise one to you, buddy. Happy retirement.
Yeah, Hitting the Gym, brought to you by Coors Light. Go to Coors.com and enter the promo code Hitting the Gym, and you'll get a free 6-pack of Coors Light. It's not negotiable, so please don't do that.
Fantastic effort, Jim. We appreciate it.
Jim, we appreciate stopping in, bud.
Hey, we're glad to be back. Hammer the over in Arkansas Rice. That'll be my last tip for the week. Hammer the over. Arkansas going to roll out a 50 burger against the Rice Owls on Saturday.
Love it. Love it. Take it there. That was betting with Jim as well as Hitting the Gym. So
exactly.
Jim, appreciate it. We will see you next week. Same time, same place.
All right, Jim, we appreciate you stopping in here. I think that's going to be my favorite part of the whole every week, just hitting the gym, getting the 6-pack. I don't do it in real life. So as long as I can say I'm hitting that gym, getting a 6-pack in any way,
The wife will be happy.
part. That's right. Anyways, let's get back and let's talk some Big Ten football. We got a big slate of games this week. I'm ready. It's my favorite time of the year.
You're ready.
Purdue is
I'm ready.
Purdue's undefeated. This is the best time of the year. Do you just want me to go down this list and we can kind of talk about? I'll mention the game. I'll just mention the line and then just over under. We don't have to talk about all that, but just kind of mention where it's at. So first game we had on the slate was Temple versus Rutgers. Huge matchup, I know. They actually have Rutgers at, what is it, 14? They're giving them 14 points.
Can you get me 13.5 on one of those books, Brock?
Is it 13 and a half? I'm just going off the ESPN
I'm
here.
joking. I'm
He
joking.
just wants to buy half. Just buy a half point.
Anyways, I do not have much to say about Rutgers except they honestly had a pretty decent year last year. I'm probably going to be rolling with Rutgers in this game. I'm going to fight the Big Ten. Like I said last week, any team that's going to be playing at home this week with fans in the stands, first time in a long time, I'm taking them for the most part. So I'm going to roll with Rutgers.
I've also got Rutgers going big here, 42-17. Not even close.
Great pick, guys. Great pick. I got Rutgers as well. Greg Schiano's got those dudes moving in the right direction. I'm not sure. I got about 30-13 maybe, something like that. So, but yeah, I'm with Rutgers as well. So what we got next? We got Ohio State at Minnesota. And we're kind of going to go based on like Thursday night, Friday nights into the Saturday is kind of how we have it listed, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Ohio State at Minnesota. Ohio State, 14-point favorites, over under 64.5. I'm not necessarily going to pick Minnesota to win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people are going to say. I mean, Tanner Morgan's actually really good. He's been there forever at Minnesota. Ohio State got a freshman quarterback who's never started a game in his life in college. It's only like 19 years old, CJ Stroud. So I think it's actually going to be really close. I think Minnesota has some good players. I'm not a huge PJ Fleck fan, but I think just playing at home, PJ Fleck's going to have him fired up, throwing the boat. I'm gonna pick Ohio State to win, but I'm gonna pick Minnesota to keep it close.
Love the pick, Brock. I'm in the same boat, pun intended. Mohamed Ibrahim, fantastic running back for Minnesota. He's really, 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 really good. I think he'll help out. And then you mentioned veteran QB for the Gophers. So same thing. Ohio State wins. Too much talent on the field for them to lose. Plus, we saw Minnesota choke huge last year against Michigan at home in the opener. So I have no faith of them winning, but they should bounce back to cover the spread.
I think Minnesota's biggest question is their line. Can their offensive line bounce back from what was a very, very not good performance last year? And I think they had a lot of injuries, a lot of moving parts. But if they can get solidified, they have a good running back. Tanner Morgan's a veteran. I think it's going to be pretty close in the first half, and then too much firepower for Ohio State. They pull away, win by 20, something like that.
Moving on, we got Michigan State at Northwestern. Northwestern 3-point favorites, over under 45. I think Northwestern's honestly just going to win big. I don't think Michigan State's going to be very good this year at all. And I really like how what's his name, coach from Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald. I think he's a stud. I think they're just going to roll over him. I think they're going to win by like 17.
Got the Spartans winning straight up against Northwestern. Big Mel Tucker guy. I think he's a really good coach as well. Northwestern lost too many guys last year to the draft, which is weird to say. Plus, they lost guys to graduation as well. So I'm going to take the Spartans on the road.
I am also Ryan Ole Sparty. Michigan State with a worse team last year, and Northwestern with one of their best teams. Michigan State won 29-20. I'm just saying that Northwestern got worse. Michigan State got a little bit better. So I think it's going to be something like that again, 24-20 Michigan State.
Phil, I'm going to let you start with this one. Western Michigan at Michigan. Michigan 17-point favorites, over under 67.
Over under 67. So let me get 49-22 would cover. All right. I'm going to take the under because I don't think they're going to score like that. Michigan definitely wins. Michigan definitely covers. Cade McNamara getting the start at QB. JJ McCarthy waiting in the wings, not quite ready yet to take the helm here. Cakewalk first game. We've never seen Michigan blow their first opening game of the year ever. So they're going to do great. Hassan Haskins, underrated. Ronnie Bell, underrated. They're both going to pop off this year. Michigan's going to come out strong. Jim Harbaugh really needs them to as well, just to start his campaign of please let me keep my job. But I'm not worried at all about the Broncos. Michigan all day, but hit the under.
Yeah, I'm going to go Michigan as well. Don't have much to it. I think, look, Western Michigan gives up about 50 points a game to MAC opponents. I think Michigan's going to probably score about 48, 50 as well. Give me Michigan 48-14.
Obviously, I'm going Michigan. I think it's actually going to hit the over. For kind of the reason you said, Phil, I think Harbaugh, he's going to want to prove himself this year a little bit more, and I think he's going to want to just blow people out if he can, especially early, just to kind of get the fans back excited for the year again. So Michigan easily. Moving on, we got Fordham at Nebraska. Who cares? There's no line. There is no line, and there is no over-under. Nebraska, I'm going to go with them. Fordham, don't know anything about them.
Do you know their mascot?
I don't. Like I said.
Jared?
Rams.
Correct. 1 point for Jared. My only note on this game is must win for Huskers. I think if they were down at halftime at this game, Scott Frost would be fired at halftime of the game.
He gets Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
Fucking off the field. You out of here. No, I mean, at the end of the day, Nebraska has a lot more talent than Fordham. It is what it is. Nebraska's going to run them, probably hang 55 points on them just because they can. And they'll be like, we got to prove that we're still good. Awesome. You're kicking the shit out of
last week. Look at
you
us
kicked
now.
the shit out of Fordham. Woo! So, yeah, I mean, whatever. 52, 55, 10. I don't know.
Moving on, we got West Virginia at Maryland. West Virginia is actually favored in this game, 2.5 point favorites, over under 57.5. I'm going to roll with Maryland. I actually kind of like some of the things they did last year. They got Tagovailoa. How do you say his name? Tua's younger brother.
Tagovailoa, I think.
Tua's younger brother as the quarterback again. I think he's pretty exciting. I'm actually going to go Maryland to win. I'm going to go over on the 57.5. Maryland gives up a lot of points. They score a lot of points. There's my pick.
I'm going to take the Mountaineers, West Virginia, for the win and the cover. Let me get this name right. Jared Dagey. Dagey is how you pronounce it. He's the quarterback. How about he led the Big 12 last year in passing attempts, which is a lot of passing attempts if it's the Big 12. He only had 4 interceptions, which is just a crazy stat to me. So he's not just out there slinging the pill. He's making smart, accurate throws. A lot of them are short out routes, dump off, stuff like that. So it's not super exciting, but they're at least moving the ball.
I mean, that's a lot of interceptions considering they don't put a defense on the field in the Big 12.
There's lots of defense in the Big 12. 4 interceptions. Come on. That's 1 every 3 games. Go Mountaineers, baby.
Brock, what'd you say the over was? 57.5?
57.5.
Here is what the score I had. I had 30-27 Maryland. So flirting right there.
Points.
I like what Mike Locksley's doing. Talia Tagovailoa, I think he's really good. They got a stud wide receiver at Maryland, Raheem Jarrett. I think he was their highest recruited kid ever last year. Didn't really pan out in terms of the numbers, but I mean, he is an absolute freak. I like that combination for them too. And I just haven't been that impressed with West Virginia last year and the year before. So give me in a close one, Maryland. Sorry. Give me Maryland in a close one. It was a coin flip in my notes.
Big one here, Brock. Big one.
Next game, biggest game of the week, night game. I think they're playing on FS1. Oregon State at my Boilers. Purdue 7-point favorites over under 67.5. I'm actually picking Purdue to roll in this game. There's actually some news coming out of Oregon State. They have a depleted defensive line in the first place, and they just had their best defensive lineman get hurt for the first 4 weeks of the year. Purdue has a really good offense. I think they're just going to be scoring at will. I'm going to go over on the 67.5 because Purdue also gives up a lot of points, but I'm going to pick 42-28. I'm going to pick them 14-point favorites.
Give me Purdue all damn day. Boiler up. Hashtag. I mean, they have no chance of losing this game at all. My man Bell's going to go for 6 tuds.
About to break
I'll
some
give him,
records.
I'll give him 3. I'll give him 3 tutties, and I'll give him about 180 yards.
It's a night game in West Lafayette. Things typically go well.
Magical. It's magical there at
Things
night.
typically go well. 67 points is a lot of points, though. Yeah, I don't know. Oregon State, they had a really good running back last year. I don't think they can do what they did last year without him. And so I think them scoring a lot of points, you're going to need some points scored by them if you're going to get that over. I think probably 20 to 24 points is probably reasonable, with Purdue scoring about 35. So I guess I'd go with the under, but Purdue by about 10, 11.
It's a great pick, guys. Next one was it Texas San Antonio at Illinois. Illinois.
Hey, yeah. I was gonna test Brock again.
Oh, sorry. Damn it.
Roadrunners, Jared.
The Roadrunners of UTSA.
Illinois 5.5-point favorites over under at 49.
5.5.
Yeah, I'm
They just
definitely
stopped
rolling.
Nebraska.
Definitely
Come on.
rolling Illinois to cover that one. If you got some money, I'd probably throw down on that. But Artur Satowski might have been a fluke. Who knows? But I'm going over as well. They just put up 30 on Nebraska's defense with a lot of guys returning. I'm going to pick them to score at least 40 in this game.
Illinois all day, across the board, everything.
Art Sitkowski, baby. Believe in this kid. Yeah, I mean, UTSA,
He's a man. He's been around forever.
UTSA can score some points when you're talking Conference USA stuff, but the Big Ten is just a little bit different. I liked what I saw from Illinois last week. They played hard. Their defense was all run to the ball. They knocked out a couple referees. So they're dialed in. Yeah, give me Illinois 35-17.
Big one, Jared. IU at Iowa.
Let me stop you there real quick, just to kind of keep our fans in the loop with what we're doing here. So each week we're going to highlight 3 key pick'em matchups. This is going to be kind of an inter-squad competition between the 3 hosts here. And so we'll choose at least 2 Big Ten games every week to be kind of that key pick'em game, and then 1 national game. And so our last 2 Big Ten games here on the slate will be part of the Pick'em Challenge. So IU at Iowa and Penn State at Wisconsin. Brock, give us our introduction to this game.
IU at Iowa. Was it? What's the game time? 3:00 game.
3:30.
3:30 game at Iowa. Iowa 3.5-point favorites. Over under at 45. That does not seem like a lot of points. I'm going to roll. Like I mentioned last week, IU didn't have a win against a team that had a winning record last year. I'm going to roll Iowa to cover, probably maybe like 6 points, 7 points, maybe. And I'm going to hit the over. I'm going to say probably 48 points total.
I'm picking Indiana solely because I was just running my mouth last week. I actually don't have much faith at all in this pick. I honestly think Iowa's going to win at home with their opener. They have a ton of returning guys. Indiana's nice, though. I mean, I like Penix a lot, honestly. I think he's a good quarterback, and I'm actually not super impressed with, is it Petrus, the Iowa guy? He did not look great.
I think it might be Petrus, but it might be Petrus.
Whatever. Too many vowels stuff. Anyway, so I don't know. For the sake of the betting, I'm going to take Indiana to cover for our game, but I'm not confident with it.
Oh God, can't hear it.
Yeah, I
I gotta
can't
go
hear it here.
I got to go with the Hoosiers. Mike Penix. Here's my big question for IU. Does Mike Penix have some rust that he needs to shake off early? I mean, look, he's coming off his 2nd ACL injury. I've never torn my ACL even one time, so I don't know what it's like coming back. I can only imagine, just kind of those jitters and need to take that first hit. So I'm sure he's been in the non-contact jersey at practice, but it's always tough to go on the road at Iowa. But the last time Iowa came to Indiana, they kicked the shit out of us. And so, look, I look for IU to return the favor by 3. 30-27. Go Hoosiers.
Bad pick.
So, Brock, you're the one who took Iowa. You can take a commanding lead in the pick 'em week one.
It's gonna be easy.
What was the spread you said? Iowa -3?
3.5.
3.5.
Final game for the Big Ten. We got Penn State at Wisconsin, another big one. Wisconsin 5.5-point favorites. Over under at 50. This one's a tough one, I think. I think Penn State is going to be much better this year than they were last year. Granted, they ended the year actually pretty well last year, minus their terrible start. They have probably a lot of guys coming back. Since I picked Wisconsin to be like the sleeper team to beat Ohio State this year, I'm going to roll with Wisconsin. They're playing at home. Like I said, Wisconsin's one of my top places I'd want to go to, jump around. I think they're going to be jumping around all night. Getting the dub. I think they're going to win by 10. And I'm going to hit the over. Yeah, I'm going to go over as well. If Graham Mertz can throw 6 or 7 TDs in his first game like he did last year, it's going to be an easy over.
I'm also going to ride the Badgers here. I think it's going to be a decent game. I think Wisconsin has a little more. It's really weird to say that they actually have a fairly exciting offense, but I like old Grammy up there slinging the pill. And the Penn State defense sucks balls. So we're going Wisconsin for everything.
Coin flip. Outside of Georgia, Clemson, I think this is probably the best game of the weekend. For me, the key is, can Wisconsin establish the run? Because they really struggled last year. I don't know if it was we don't have Jonathan Taylor anymore, or what happened. But if they can establish that run game again, you know what you're going to get from Graham Mertz. He's a stud. So I like Wisconsin, a close one by, 6 or 7 points at home.
Great pick.
Thank you, Lee Corso.
So kind of going into our national games here, we got 5 national games, just kind of talk about, and then we got 2 more pick 'em week games. Starting off, we had Boise State at UCF. UCF 5-point favorites, over under 69. That's a lot of points,
Nice.
But it is nice. I'm actually going to go for a push there and just stick with the 69 because that's what we like.
All right, that would be.
But I am going to pick UCF to win this one. I think they're going to be excited down there in Orlando.
Yeah, they call it the Bounce House, Bright House Stadium.
Are there any bounce houses
Like
at the bounce house?
They surround the stadium with them.
Like 7-year-old kids love bounce houses.
Yeah, 7-year-old kids love UCF. I'll tell you this: Dylan Gabriel, dog. Okay, stud, great quarterback. 3rd year as a starter. UCF has this in the bag. See you, Boise. Thanks for coming.
I have an absolute shootout. We're going to shatter the over 69. We're going to approach 80. We're going to approach 80 points. And I've got UCF as well in a barn burner, 41-38. But watch out for Boise State's quarterback. He is a stud as well.
41-38 is 79 points, and you just said 80. So
I said approaching 80. approaching 80.
Fair enough.
Moving on, we got UNC at Virginia Tech. They're entering the Sandman there. UNC 5.5-point favorites, over under 64. I think this one's going to be a close one throughout, just being at Virginia Tech. If we're talking about UNC's talent, like everybody nationally saying that they have their sleeper team, I'm going to roll with it. Starting out just because we don't know, but I'm going to roll with UNC, probably 7 points. I'm going to go under on the 64, actually.
I think that's good. Virginia Tech, I feel like, always plays a bunch of low-scoring games. They've been exciting since Mike Vick was there. Sam Howell, dog. Josh Downs, receiver, dog. So, and I have to go back to me running my mouth last week. I got to back up all the shit I talked. UNC is going to be a huge sleeper this year. They're fantastic. Give me the Tar Heels all day. All damn day. Over, cover, win.
Bill is a big advocate for the IU-UNC national championship game.
I'm the only person in the country.
Tell you what, we can probably get you probably field passes for that national championship game if it happens. So
Be sick. Be sick.
you might get us blown up. Yeah, I'm going to go with UNC. I think just too much firepower on offense for them. Virginia Tech's defense has been a little bit lackluster and soft the last few years. So give me UNC 40-28, something like that.
Big game here. Notre Dame at Florida State. Notre Dame 7.5-point favorites, over under at 55.5. I'm going to pick Notre Dame to win, but I think it's going to be pretty close. They only won by 14 or 16 points last year at home. They had a lot more talent, I think, than Florida State did last year. I'm going to pick Notre Dame to win, but I'm actually going to pick Florida State to cover. I'm going to go under on the 55.5 as well. Jack Cohn, he's more of a game manager quarterback for Notre Dame. So going under.
I'm taking Notre Dame to win and cover because they're playing on a Sunday and they are the chosen team of the Lord Jesus Christ. So that's key one. And then number 2 is Mackenzie Milton, starting QB for Florida State, coming off the gruesome leg injury. What's he going to have in the tank? No one really knows. He's a grinder, though. Good for him for getting back out there. I think that's a really cool story. But I just don't think FSU has the talent like that this year. It's hard to say, that they could hang with a top 10 team when, I can't name anyone besides Milton on FSU. They're down, man. So.
Yeah, I think Mike Norvell, obviously in his first season last year, things didn't go as planned, but he's got to turn over that roster. He had a lot of things to fix and clean up. So I think this is going to be close. I think you got a primetime matchup on a Sunday evening at Florida State. You've got the Bobby Bowden effect. I'm sure they're probably going to do something to tribute him. I think it's going to be super close, but I got Notre Dame in the end about 27-20 in a kind of an ugly game.
Yeah.
Final 2 games here. Last 2 games of our pick'em as well. The big ones of the week nationally. We got Alabama playing against Miami. Neutral site game. Alabama. I think they have them slated as 18.5-point favorites, over under 61.5. I hate these games with Alabama. They have the spread so big. I'm rolling with Alabama. I just think 18.5 is big, even though it always seems like that. It always seems like they railroad everybody. I'm going to pick Miami to cover, though, just for the heck of it. I'm going to go over 61.5.
45-17. Alabama wins it. Give me the under. Give me the Tide. Too many weapons.
Shootout. I like Derek King a lot for Miami. I think he's going to get his, but I think Alabama's really deep this year. Their biggest question mark is just they've replaced a lot on offense. Their quarterback.
They do that every year.
Yeah, I've got the utmost confidence in that coach, Coach Nick Saban. Now Bill O'Brien, that's a different story. But yeah, I got Bama 47, Miami 30. We're going over.
Final game on the slate here. We got Georgia at Clemson, another neutral site game. Clemson -3, 3-point favorites, over under at 51.5. I'm going to roll with Clemson. I think they're going to win by maybe a touchdown, and it might just be it's a tie game late, and they score a touchdown late in the game. Like I said, their quarterback's my Heisman favorite, so I'm picking them to win and cover. I am going to go over on the 51.5. I think it could be maybe 30 to 31-24.
I got the Tigers. All day. Playing in Charlotte, I believe. They're a little bit closer, so they should have a smidge more advantage over Georgia, though Georgia obviously travels well. DJ Ugly, fantastic quarterback. Really showed a lot last year when he filled in for Lawrence. I like him a lot. Georgia chokes all the time. Give me Clemson, over, cover, win.
I'm rolling with Clemson as well in a close one. I'm very high on Georgia this year, but they got some injury questions going into this week 1. George Pickens, their best receiver, ACL injury, he's out. Eric Gilbert, another wide receiver, he's out due to personal reasons. Who knows if he's coming back? So I like the Tigers 28-24. great game, but I got Georgia facing them again in the college football playoff and beating them later. Just mark it down now.
Ooh, that's a fun little thing.
So that's what we got. I think we got a fun slate. We got a really fun slate for week 1. I mean, you still got like UCLA, LSU, Texas, or Louisiana. I mean, there's some really good games that we didn't talk about.
All's back.
So
It's back.
literally look. I'm glad Austin Peay plays on Thursday night this week because I got Saturday. Just we'll be watching the Hoosiers. We'll be watching college football all day. So I'm excited.
I'm gonna be sitting at Ross-Ade Stadium, cheering the Boilers on, getting
Drinking
dubs.
water, eating chips.
That's right. We're gonna be tailgating, getting there at noon, cooking
About
out,
half
playing
the
some
stadium
cornhole. Maybe I might do a live in game on the old the Twitter feed there.
Hey,
Go for it. Can't wait to see what the ruckus crowd is like in West Lafayette. Ross-Ade Stadium will be rocking. We know it's a night game. No, I hope every home game this week is just, packed house, sold out crowd. Just welcome the fans back. I hope all these home teams can give, just all the fans that have waited so long. We've waited 600 days, to really have a full 100% capacity crowd. Man, I just hope a lot of these home teams can ball and show out and go Big Ten, man. Go Big Ten.
woo.
So until next
That's
time, that's it, man. Until next time, appreciate y'all listening. We will see you next week. New episode for week 2. We'll recap everything that happened in week 1, and then give you our predictions for next week. So look for that podcast every Wednesday dropping. Make sure you go follow us on Twitter at Shotgun CFB Pod. Give us that follow. Appreciate it. Love you all. See you next week.
Pull her up, baby. Come on.